So once again, for this season, like the last two seasons, there has been a restructure in the non-league pyramid, just to make things nice and confusing for us all. This year, probably the most confusing of all of the changes in the last few years, so we're going to clear it up in this video. So we're going to start off in Step 1, also known as Tier 5. Tier 5 of the English Football League system, and Step 1 of the non-league pyramid. That is the National League, of which that is staying exactly the same as last year, which is fantastic, making our lives a little bit more simple. In first place, you are the champion, you get promoted regardless. Then second and third go into the playoff semi-finals. Then fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh play a quarter-final before heading into the semi-finals of those playoffs. So 6 teams in total in the playoffs. Obviously only one team going up through the playoffs, meaning a total of 2 teams promoted. Then teams between 8th and 20th stay in the league, and the bottom 4 get relegated to Step 2 of the non-league pyramid, which is made of the National League North and National League South. Same sort of structure in terms of the promotion, 1 team getting promoted and the same 6 teams in the playoffs, the same structure as the National League. Then teams between 8th and 19th stay in the league, but this league, unlike the National League has 24 teams in it, but these 2 leagues both have 22. 3 teams from each league get relegated, so a total of 6 get relegated down to the 7th tier, which is where the big changes start for this season. Now, Step 3, the big elephant in the room is that an extra league has been added. There used to be the Northern Premier and the Bostik Premier and the Southern Premier, but the Southern Premier has been split into 2 leagues, into the Southern League South and Southern League Central. Last season, there was only 1 relegation place from those 3 leagues, and there was 19 promotion places from the 4th tier. Now, this season, the number of relegation places has gone up from a total of 3 across the 3 leagues to a total of 12 across the 4 leagues. So it's basically resumed a regular sort of league structure, and what it has meant with the few teams getting relegated last season, a lot more promoted to Step 3, that has allowed another league to be placed at this level. Now, for the promotion, the top team gets promoted out of the 4 leagues, but then only an extra 2 teams get promoted out of the playoffs in total out of the 4 leagues. I'll explain. So it is called the Super Playoffs. Now, it sounds pretty snazzy, but really all it is it just makes it even harder for teams to get promoted out of the playoffs. So, starting off with a regular playoff structure for all 4 of the leagues, semi-finals, then to the final, and the finals take place. Whoever wins out the finals, that gets the 4 playoff winners. Now, these 4 playoff winners go into the Super Playoffs, where they have to play 1 extra game. They are matched up based on their geographic location. That is decided by the FA Leagues Committee. And yeah, these 2 games, they're over 1 leg. They're held at the ground of the team that has got the highest points per game ratio. And whichever 2 teams win these games, they get promoted. So it really is harsh trying to get promoted out of these leagues via the playoffs, because even if you get promoted out of your own league via the playoffs, you have to go into another game against a team from a different league. So 3 teams get relegated from each of the 4 leagues, meaning that 12 teams get relegated, making up 12 new spots for teams to get promoted from Step 4. Now, there's 7 leagues in Step 4, so if you do a bit of maths, you're basically working out that it's going to be awkward to get 12 teams out of 7 leagues to get promoted. So we're going to start off with whatever the new league is, and that is one of the Bostik leagues. Last year there was the Bostik League North and the Bostik League South. Now there is the Bostik League South Central and the Bostik League South East alongside the Bostik North. So the Bostik League South has been split up into 2 new leagues. So in the playoffs, it's even harsher than in Step 3. This time, there's no super playoffs. You don't have to play against teams from other leagues if you win your playoffs, but whoever wins the playoffs, again, it's a simple playoff structure, just semi-finals, then final. Whoever wins the final gets promoted, but they don't guaranteed get promoted. Basically, they take of the 7 playoff final winners, they take the 5 teams that have got the highest number of points per game, and those 5 teams get promoted. So literally, you could do everything in your power to get out of the playoffs. You could literally finish in 5th place in the playoffs. If you finish lower in the playoffs, you are less likely to have a higher points per game ratio than all of the other playoff final winners in the other leagues, because just naturally how you think it would work, the teams finishing higher up in the playoffs are more likely to have a higher points per game ratio, and they're also more likely to get promoted because they've had a better season overall and carry momentum into it. So if you sneak into the playoffs in the last few games of the season and you finish in 5th place, but you don't have a great points per game ratio, then even if you win those playoffs by carrying that momentum into the playoffs, you still might not get promoted, which is really harsh in my opinion, but that is just how it is. Now, the aim of the FA is to actually implement an extra league at step 4 level. They want to get it up to 8 leagues just to make it more fluid and make it easier, basically, because if it was at 8 leagues, then they could get 8 playoff winners in, then they'd have 4 teams extra to go up, and that could be done through the super playoff structure. But because there's only 7 leagues, it makes it a little bit awkward, and hence it is down to the points per game strategy. So it's all a bit confusing. Hopefully this video does make sense of it all. Hopefully you can understand it all. If you do, let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button and subscribe. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.